in there. I guarantee that Lynn's going to tie into something. Guys, if you don't know who Lynn Gardner is yet, let me tell you something, guys. I've just fallen in love with this woman over the years, and my daughter is the one who said, man, I really like Lynn Gardner, and that really led me forward. She is an accomplished author. She's got 3 different books out: Toilets, Taps and Trash, Walking on Water, and 12 Steps for Climbing Out of the Dark Place. And I think the 12 Steps for Climbing Out of the Dark Place was her latest one. Guys, she is a mother, a God-fearing Christian woman. I love this woman. Without any further, let's just go to Lynn. Good morning, Lynn. How are you?
Oh, good morning, everybody. Good morning, Wade. Good morning, Sam. Sam, I just want to say I've been fervently praying for your beautiful bride, and I'm so grateful for answered prayers. And, you know, I'm not one of these, like, I'm sending prayers up like a helium balloon. I approach the throne of God and plead, so I've been pleading on your behalf. I'm so grateful for answered prayers. It's so good to be back with you all today. You know, I often say it feels like reunion week, the second Tuesday of every month. I look forward to it because I've missed you. I like hearing your voices and hear what's going on. And to have this chance to be on this side of the call is an incredible honor. You know, it's spring, at least for the most part here at the farm, right? It's supposed to be. Although we've had days in the high 40s, low 50s here lately, it's not been feeling like spring, you know, so much, but it is spring and it looks like it. You know, we've also had, like so many other people, been hit with lots of rain this spring, and it's making it difficult to keep up right now. You know, every time the farmers plant, the fields get flooded. So I'm expecting a shortage of farm fresh food again this year, all because of the abundance of rain. You know, there are many outside projects that need to be done around here, and I'm on my own, right? So there's a lot of routine maintenance and stuff that comes with the spring, and no doubt there's a whole lot of preparation that comes with the event, you know, that happens in October. And, you know, the rain these days, sometimes it's win, sometimes it's lose, whether I can get these things done. You know what? I've talked about this before, but here I go again. I'm fighting with a groundhog at the farm these days. I mean, I don't want to give this impression that I'm like, you know, in my high-bibbed overalls like Annie Oakley out there. But, you know, that thing is relentless, and it keeps burying its way up into the dirt floor part of the barn. And so I've tried everything, right? I've tried trapping, which I've done many times, putting fruits and veggies, you know, everything known to mankind. This thing wants no part of it. And it goes right past the food, and it kind of digs right around where the food is, you know, almost like saying, no, thank you. I'm going to keep digging, right? I've tried filling in the holes, but that's like filling in the Grand Canyon. I've sprinkled repellent out there. I've put smoke bombs down into the burrow. And so far, I haven't gotten rid of him. Sometimes it feels like he's almost playing with me, right? He's just prodding me a little bit. But that groundhog doesn't know me very well because I don't quit. I'm as relentless as that thing is, and I will win eventually. And you know what? All those failed attempts will make the win even sweeter in the end, right? Speaking of winning, lots has happened since we gathered together last time. Tiger Woods claimed his victory at the Masters, the first in over a decade. Wow. And Country House won the Kentucky Derby for the first time, at least on a technicality. All these thoughts of winning inspired the message for you today entitled, Winning Never Comes Easy. You know, I'm not sure what it is about human nature that would be inclined to believe that winning comes easy in life, especially when it comes to building a business. But that's obviously the mindset of so many people. You know, a few bumps in the road, a few failed attempts, and most people throw in the towel and they blame everything and everybody else on why they didn't win. But winning never comes easy. It's not easy in relationships. It's not easy with our children. It's not easy walking out our faith. And it's sure not easy in a business. You know, when I was growing up, we didn't tune into, you know, all sports. It wasn't like a 1960s version of ESPN, but we tuned into a few as a family. Major League Baseball was one, the Super Bowl was one, the Kentucky Derby was one, and golf. Again, you can imagine as a kid trying to watch golf, but my mother loved that game, and she never held a club, and neither did my dad, and I'm not sure she knew anybody personally, you know, that did, right, but she loved the game. Jack Nicklaus was her hero for the longest time, and after Nicklaus, along came Tiger Woods. It was like he couldn't lose, either one of those guys, Jack and Tiger. It was like they couldn't lose. And I remember when Tiger came along, more people mocking him because he never seemed to lose. And people just wanted somebody else to have a chance to win, right? People wanting him to quit and get out of the way, give somebody else a chance. Well, who does that? You know what? That's not too far from what we hear in our industry. There are people that get, envious, jealous, whatever, and they'll start whining about how just a certain number of people are making the big bucks, and they actually imply that money should be spread around. Well, I tell you what, there's not Robin Hood in business, right? That's never going to happen. If you want to win, you run your own race. It's sad, but it's true. Tiger Woods, he paid his dues. In the first part of his career, all the work and persistence paid off tenfold. His dad made sure of it. His dad wasn't just a coach. His dad was his rock in every sense of the word. And there was nothing his dad wouldn't do to push Tiger. I would imagine sometimes as a kid, Tiger just wanted to run away, right? Because his dad was relentlessly pushing him. He saw his potential, and he was in a position of authority to make him do what he told him to do. It's even said that his dad blindfolded Tiger so that he could learn to feel that club, to feel the wind blowing, like which way will the ball go. He in his mind's eye, he wanted him to see that ball, and the results were amazing. But it all paid off, and there was nobody like Tiger. And then Tiger fell, and he fell hard. His rock, his dad died, and when he lost his rock, he lost his way. You know what? I'd venture to guess that most of you on the call today have lost a rock. Maybe it was somebody you loved, maybe it was your significant other, maybe it was a child. Maybe it was someone you leaned on, you loved, and you have no more. It might have been money. A lot of people find their stability there. Their stability, their comfort, right, security. For Tiger, it was his dad. And he lost his way in every way in front of the entire world to see. Every newspaper, every news channel plastered his failures, dragged him through the mud right down the street, right? It was almost as if it all wiped out the victories. Like he fell and it wiped it all out. But that's not possible. Once you win, you're a winner. No, you can never lose that. You won, right? I don't know about you, but I sure wouldn't want all my falls and failures plastered around for all the world to see. I can't imagine how painful that was. He really almost lost everything. He lost his dad. He lost his way. He lost his wife. He lost his health. He lost his reputation. And he lost his ability to win, at least temporarily, right along with it. But you know what? Tiger eventually, even through that mess of the shame and rebuilding his life, I'm sure in many ways, he showed his relentless side all over again. Despite the fact that he went out there on the course and going from never being able to lose to seemingly never being able to win, he swung that club. And his relentlessness, his drive, all the things his dad taught him paid off over a decade after the last win. How many of you would be so relentless, to lose it all and still be willing to swing that club and still believe in your dream, to chase the dream of being a winner again? And you know what? I'm guessing not so many. I met Tiger Woods once. That was an honor, but I certainly don't know him personally. But I'm willing to bet that it was his why that drove him to do whatever it took to win again. The money didn't drive him. He didn't lose all of that, right? He's still very wealthy. His dad didn't drive him the second time out. The dream of winning one Masters didn't drive him, right? He'd already won several. But I think the idea of having the chance to show his kids that he is a winner. They were just little tiny things when he fell, right? I think he wanted a chance to show his kids that Daddy is a winner, and that probably gave him the drive he needed. What a glorious gift. Winning didn't come easy, and the victory was even sweeter in the end because of all the losses. I've heard from countless people that lost their way when our economy tanked. It's been a while now, folks. When the economy, went down, they lost their jobs, their homes, their identity. They lost all kinds of stuff, right? And they sometimes mention the same why. I want my kids to see me, recovered. I want my kids to see me winning again. But they refuse to put in the work. Winning doesn't come easy, no matter how many times you go out there. The first part of Tiger's career, it was all hard work to master the game. A lot of what you guys are doing now, to work hard, to learn to master that game. The second part was all heart. That's the way it is, folks. Winning doesn't come easy. It takes persistence and willingness to get back up when you face all these trials, and that's where the heart comes in. When you see people quit over the most ridiculous things in our world, it's unbelievable. Sometimes they don't like a team member. Sometimes it's because they're not making a sale, or Sometimes they complain about their leader. They convince themselves that nobody can afford to buy our technology. They're all excuses. They're just excuses. These people think winning comes easy. That's the surest sign of understanding that that's where their head is. Instead of focusing on all those outside influences that they believe are the cause for winning, they can't focus on the track or the club. Just like Tiger, they need a fresh start. There's nothing wrong with starting all over. I got to tell you, my business, I haven't left you guys since I joined you guys, but I've started over a couple of times. With Tiger, he needed a fresh start. That's what leveraged him. But what about all those people we know that need a fresh start? And you know what they do? They quit instead. Where is that drive, that race, that persistence to win the race, right? They need to focus on the hard work that it takes to win, and they need to understand that winning doesn't come easy for anybody. People might make it look effortless, but it's never effortless, and it's all those losses that make the win even sweeter. Tiger's master win was remarkable in every sense of the word. And if by chance he doesn't win another big tournament in his entire lifetime, his kids were eyewitness to the win. And, there's another, story that we can thread into this of the winner's circle, so to speak, and that was the win of the Kentucky Derby this year, Country House, against all odds, right? And only due to a technicality, the prize was awarded to a horse that didn't come in first at all. Good for Country House and her owners, good for the jockey. But imagine what it felt like to be the winner that didn't win. Both horses trained hard. Both horses ran well. Where it's a muddy track, they all gave it all they had out there that day. Each had the opportunity to win. Everybody on equal ground, right? Officially, Maximum Security came in first. She won. And he paid their dues just like Tiger paid off in his hard work, right? She won, right? But that was only for a few minutes of fame. A technicality changed the winner's circle, and Maximum Security was disqualified for breaking the rules. Boy, I tell you what, I'm sure the owners and the jockey of Maximum Security are devastated, and there's no doubt we're going to see a legal battle for a long time. And although the owners of Country House can celebrate a win, I'm sure that the way the race was won put a little bit of sting on their victory. There are lots of people out there like Maximum Security. They're putting in the hard work. They're determined to win. They're paying their dues in many, many ways, and a minor technicality can rob them of their win, too, if they aren't careful. It doesn't matter much if we agree with the rules of the game. It doesn't matter much if I drive down a street and I think the speed limit should be 40 and it's 25. It doesn't matter what I think. The rules are the rules are the rules. And that the Kentucky Derby is a good example of that. 145 years, this is the first time the rule like this is being challenged on a technicality. What matters the most in life is, again, what we think of the rules. It's how we run the race and if we're willing to follow them. Are we willing to follow the rules? It's pretty interesting to see people determined to win with a spirit like Tiger and the endurance of Maximum Security, but rules just somehow don't apply to them. Winning should come easy is their mindset, right? They should be able to skirt any issue and finagle things and strategize their way to success. And there are always shortcuts to get there in their eyes. But as surely as Maximum Security lost the victory of a lifetime, so can you if you bend the rules and you try to win on technicalities. Winning comes at a price, one that most people aren't willing to pay, and it's a shame because I'll tell you what, you go through all those losses and you finally win. It's an amazing victory. It never comes easy, and you stumble a lot in the process. I don't even want to know. I'd be on this phone call for a couple weeks straight if I talked to you about all the times I stumbled and all the times I lost. And you know what? The victory was sweeter all because of it. When we persevere, when we're persistent, when we're relentless, we're refusing to quit, that's when we win. We can be a Tiger Woods, or we can be a Country House, despite the adversity we face, and the victory is always sweeter in the end. There are plenty of people out there who get wrapped around the axle when you mention money or competition or winning. I mean, they're probably some all ruffled up now. They don't see the need for endurance at all. They don't see it as a competition. They don't see it as a race. But you know what? They'd be wrong. If you want to succeed in any area of life, you have to understand that it is a race. You've got to be willing to run it. You've got to be willing to persevere no matter what. It's true in relationships. It's true with our family. It's true in our faith. And it's true in our business. But you know what? Don't take my word for it. God has a lot to say about these things, and I'm going to share just a little bit of it with you. 1 Corinthians 9:24 through 27. Do you not know that in a race all the runners run, but only one gets the prize? Run in such a way as to get the prize. Everyone who competes in the games goes into strict training. They do it to get a crown that will not last, but we do it to get a crown that will last forever. Therefore, I do not run like someone running aimlessly. I do not fight like a boxer beating the air. No, I strike a blow to my body and I make it my slave so that after I've preached to others, I myself will not be disqualified for the prize. There's a whole lot of wisdom in that, guys. And if you want to look it up later on, do so. 1 Corinthians 9:24 through 27. Here we go again. Hebrews 12:11-13. No disciple seems pleasant at the time, but painful. Later on, however, it produces, no discipline seems pleasant at the time, but painful. Later on, however, it produces a harvest of righteousness and peace for those who have trained by it. Therefore, strengthen your feeble arms and weak knees. Make it level paths for your feet, so that the lame may not be disabled, but rather healed. Guys, there you go again. It's a lot of wisdom in that. You're going to have to run the race. You're going to have to endure, and you're going to have to get your feeble arms to work and your weak knees going, and you've got to be willing to keep going. 2 Timothy, similarly, anyone who competes as an athlete does not receive the victor's crown except by competing according to the rules. I could go on forever with example after example. It's already there, guys. But the things that we hope for, we renew our strength, and we know that we have to run the race. And even if you don't share my faith, it doesn't change a thing. You still have to run the race to be successful in life. The win is even sweeter after all those losses. So you have no excuse to quit. You have no excuse to stop running the race. Age is never an excuse. It's never too late to make a difference in this life, in any area of your life. And it's through those losses that you'll see the sweetness. You have no excuse for why you aren't a winner. Just because you haven't won the Kentucky Derby yet doesn't mean you're not a winner. But if you allow your head to tell you that it means you're not a winner, you're never going to win the Kentucky Derby. You've got to get at it just like Tiger was blindfolded by his father so he could see it in his mind's eye. You have to see where you're going, even if you're blindfolded. There's no excuse. Winners never quit, and quitters never win. So what's it going to be for you? Will you look at these lives or these situations and learn from them? Will you look at a Tiger Woods? It's not just that he won the Masters. It's that he was annihilated in front of everybody, and he still found it within him to run that race and to chase his why, to show his kids what his potential in living color. Or you wanted to kind of bend those rules a little bit. Well, it doesn't apply to me. It applies to everybody else, but not me. Guys, winners don't do that. There's a legitimate, wonderful way to win everything in life, and I know what's possible for you. You can win any race you're willing to run. But if you sit back with the excuses, you're too old, or you're too tired, or it's too hard, or nobody's got any money, or nobody likes this, and I don't like my upline, I don't like my crossline, I don't like the weather, whatever excuse you use, you can't win. That day of the Derby, it was pretty amazing, wasn't it? I mean, the rain, the mud. I complained about the fields not being able to be planted out, and those horses ran through the mud. How many times did they actually run in those conditions? Our conditions change every single day, the conditions of life. But every day is a chance to hold on, to close your eyes, just like Tiger Woods was blindfolded, and to see what's possible. And if you doubt what I'm saying, you know where to go for the truth. So that's it for me, guys. I hope that you will run and not grow weary, and you won't throw in the towel at the first sign of your loss. What's it going to be? That's it for me, Wade.
Wow, Lynn. That is so good. As you're talking through, I'm thinking, okay, all of those horses, every one of those horses have trained and trained and trained and trained exactly for that day.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, there's multiple races in their life, but that's the race. That's the one. And even being prepared for the mud, because that was a whole different race again. Other than it's not the norm or anything else. But what an incredible race that was, and man, winning never comes easy. What a great title to today. I absolutely love this, guys. Endurance. And can you see it? Can you see the finish line? Let me tell you, those horses, those jockeys could see that finish line.
Mm-hmm.
They can see that finish line because that's all they know to look for, right?
That's right.
And if we can train ourselves in that very same fashion, guys, when it's all we know to look for,
mm-hmm.
then absolutely 100% achievable. And so, man, Lynn, thank you so much.
Never losing sight of the goal, right? I mean, you never lose sight of the goal. And, you know, in the horse racing, of course, they've got the blinders on, right? So they can't get distracted by it all. I wish I could put blinders on about 80% of the people in my life. Just put your blinders on and keep running the race. Keep running toward the goal. Don't worry about all those distractions on the sidelines. That's just minor details. Just keep running, right?
That is so true. And that's, you know, me and Sam are really that's squirrely. We get a little squirrely. We look around a lot. I wish there was many times I could throw blinders on. That's one of the reasons why I'm sure, right, is because it helps me to focus on the end game. It helps me to stay focused when I can't stay focused at home. Like, you know, sitting here looking at this beautiful field out in front of me, but there's my tractor, my backhoe. There's, you know, I want to get out here and play, digging.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think a lot of us struggle with that. You know, for me, I mean, I can take my laptop out on the front porch, you know, but guys, you know, this is kind of funny, that story I tell about myself, but you know, we moved around a lot and as kids, and I must have always, I don't know if I got a closet to sleep in or what, but I like the smaller rooms. I would always pick the smallest room. So I have this magnificent front porch. It's like 38 feet wide, right on the front of the house, and my office is like 8 by 10 on the back of the house. So when I go to work, I gotta put my blinders on too. I would be sitting out there, you know, watching nature, and unfortunately, sometimes people, I think they think that's all I do. I start my day there, and I'll take a break every once in a while. But for me, I got to put my blinders on and go to work, and so does everybody, right?
That is so good. That is so good. All right, difference makers. If anybody has a question, comment, concern, I want you to pop your hand up, hit star 2, raise your hand, and talk to Miss Lynn. But we already have Miss Bernice with her hand up. Let's go there. Good morning, Miss Bernice. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. Very encouraging. Thank you, Lynn. I enjoyed it.
Oh, you're welcome.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. You're welcome. Yeah, that's great. I'm so glad that it encouraged you. That's the goal, right? And to give, you know, I'm doing I'm doing this class, and we're talking about the importance of giving a word picture, like when you introduce. And really, these messages, God gives me word pictures. So hopefully, every time you see a horse, you're going to think about this. Every time you hear a tiger's name, you're going to think about this, right? So I hope it's embedded in your heart. Thank you for that.
It is. Because I watched that young man's father coach him for years. My husband loved to watch it. And that's the problems he had in his life. And I want to teach a sports watcher. And I just love that he's encouraged by that. And for you to bring that really encouraged me with life. And I wanted those scriptures again. You said them real fast. I just want to read them again today. Thank you. Can you repeat those scriptures? Hebrews,
awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you. Well, God is so good, you know, so thank you. But, you know, I think out there in life, it takes these analogies and word pictures, because we have a tendency to look at the winners and think it was easy. I mean, we see it in our business. People will name off some of the top leaders. Yeah, but it was easy for them. You know, when is running a race easy for anybody, right? You've got to prepare for the race and endure the race and be willing to run the race and keep your eye on the goal, right? But it's not easy. We make it look easy, but it's not easy for anybody. So anybody out there listening, if you're kicking yourself this way to Sunday and you can't figure life, you know, you got to remember it's a race. It's not easy for anybody. It's just whether or not you're willing to do it, right?
That is so good. And the only reason why it ever does look easy is because of all the training beforehand.
Yes. That's so true. I mean, Romy, I love Romy, and he'll talk about, you know, here he is. He's so adorable, and he's so humble. I just love that man of God. But, you know, he'll talk about he went from business to business to business, never seeing success. And that was when he was in training, right? His endurance was being checked, and his resilience being checked, and he was getting strong arms and strong legs. And then he found the vehicle in our company. So, yeah, he made it look easy. He came in, and 20 minutes later, he's, you know, 6'8". Of course he did. But you're right, Wade. He put in all the work. He'd already been running the race. It was just he needed the vehicle to get there, and he finally found that.
Yep, that's right. That is Do you have a list of scriptures there that you just went through as Bernice asked her?
Yeah, you want to write them down? Is that what you want?
I think that's what you're for. So.
Okay, I'm scrolling here to go. Okay, 1 Corinthians 9:24 through 27. Hebrews 12:11 through 13. 2 Timothy 2:5. And Isaiah 40:31.
Excellent. I think hopefully Bernice got those written down. Hey, let's go to our friend Michael. Good morning, Mike.
Morning, Wade. Morning, Miss Lynn. As always, you are spectacular, and you always hit the nail right on the head. And one of the things that came to mind to me was also having the heart of a champion, and we all have it. It's just we have to find it in ourselves and push it. You know, like with Secretariat, when Secretariat won his final big race, and instead of resting him for all that time, they were out working him every day, so making him understand that he needed to run that race for himself. And so when he did, and look at the lengths that he went, just like the ones that were running for the Kentucky Derby this last weekend and stuff. And you always have just the right thing to say and know just how to really inspire us all. So thank you so very much for everything that you do and everything that you are.
Oh, thank you. It's such an honor and a privilege, believe me, just working inside my gifts. And, yeah, it's interesting, to see like the conditioning of Secretariat. It's the heart, I think it was 2 sizes, the normal size of a heart, right, a horse heart. But, it's funny. Again, people often think life just looks so easy. Everybody's got it so much easier than I do. Everybody in church is perfect but me. I mean, we just have this weird mindset, and frankly, it doesn't come from a good place. But, it is the heart part, because I know when I went through my biggest adversity season of my life, and in fact, I write about, or that's the basis, I guess, of that one book, Wade, the 12 Steps to Getting Out of the Dark Place. I went into a dark pit. And if there had been anybody sane around me, they would have seen that I was clinically depressed, okay? I lost my way. I couldn't figure out. That track looked like it was 18 million miles long. I didn't see a goal anymore. I lost my way. And you know what? But I didn't lose me. I lost my heart, and I lost my endurance for a while. But once I got back on my feet and I was able to, get my focus back, to the end goal, man, I'll tell you what, those losses made it all even sweeter. The losses aren't anything to be ashamed of. I tell that story sometimes in great detail, and some people are like, oh my gosh, can't believe you tell that. Well, that's my testimony. I went through it. It wasn't about me. It's to encourage you. And so if somebody who, except for that season in life, I had seen the strength, I've seen the success, I've seen everything I had to run that race. I pushed myself hard. I ran the race. Let me tell you something. It can happen to me. It can happen to any one of y'all. We cannot lose our heart, the heart that's in it, the Secretariat kind of heart that's in it, because the heart drives the entire train. When you get your faith from your head to your heart, you start walking it out. You get the business from your head to your heart, you start succeeding. And so those are non-negotiable sides to what we do. Everybody's been knocked around in life. Everybody's fallen hard in life. But when you have the right mindset, you put those blinders on and start running again, you realize that those losses just make the victory sweeter.
I love that. Everybody goes through something. And, guys, it's just up to you whether you pick yourself up, throw the blinders on, right, and zone into that race. As you said, that track looked like it was 1 million miles long. And once you stood up and put those blinders on, you said, you know what? There is a finish line. And it may be a ways off, but there is a finish line. And if I start right now with my first step, whatever it is, I know that I'm that much closer to that finish line. And if I keep proceeding, then I will hit that finish line. And I love that. I love your honesty about yourself. But what's true is it's true about everyone. Everyone has that day, that moment, that time, that period, and it could be. guys, you know what? I hope that it is a one-day affair for you. I hope you only stumble one day in your whole. But if you for years, just know that there's a finish line if you throw those blinders on.
Yeah, and where does that fighting spirit come from? I don't know. I don't know. It just seems like just the tiniest little thing can get people to go south. I know there's still a lot of personal development for all of us, right? But it's like, where's that fighting spirit? I had somebody say to me the other day, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to, it feels like I have to start the business all over again. And I'm like, so what? I started over like 3 times. Who cares how many times you have to start? How many times did the horse run just a small portion of that track distance, right? And then working the endurance. How many times did the horse get run through a muddy track just so someday maybe they would be faced with that adversity? It's so what? You start over. The point is you keep running.
That's right.
Guys, it ain't over till you're over, okay? If you're still breathing, it's not over. Whatever your heart's desire is, whether it's your personal life, your spiritual life, your business life, it's all threaded in the same principles apply to all of it. Keep running the stinking race. It's not over yet.
Oh, that's so good. Every time that horse pulls into a gate, it's a new race. Every time. Every time Tiger tees up at each hole, it's a new race for each hole.
It's a new race.
That's right.
Yeah.
And
it's a new beginning. Yeah.
Right.
And if somebody like Tiger can face all that shame, guys, I know there's people on the phone, okay? I don't know what the deal is, whether alcohol, drugs, I don't know what your deal is, but everybody's got deals.
Yep.
Imagine what it takes for a Tiger Woods, to be slammed and annihilated and trashed in every sense of the word and still say, no, I'm running the race.
Right.
So whatever your excuse is, my husband left me, my wife died, my kids are wayward, whatever it is, I went broke, I'm broke as a skunk, I don't really care what it is. Because if somebody walking that publicly like that can say, you know what, that's horrible, I feel horrible, I'm so sad, but my kids deserve to see a hero, and I'm going to run that race. And then shame on you if you got an excuse. I don't know how any of us can have an excuse.
So good. And, you take most all of the top people in the world ever have that fall down experience. Every one of them have had their face planted in the dirt sometime. Yes. And they knew they could get up, they could look up and go. And I can't think of any successful person that didn't have that. And that's the drive. Perfect. I love that. Michael, you popped your hand back up. Let me go back to Michael, and then we're going to go to Sandra next.
Hey Wade, one thing that Lynn talks about all the time is it's God's time. And I just look at it as every day that you can open your eyes and be thankful for another day, He's giving you another opportunity. And so whatever happened yesterday was yesterday, and then there's today is today. One of the things that we used to say years ago was, hey, if you get knocked down, make sure you land on your back, because by golly, if you can look up, you can get up. And when Lynn was talking about that race down the track and not being able to see the finish line, there's a lot of us, I think, that can't see the finish line, but if you can see the next post, the next mile marker, the next turn in the curve, get there. If you can get there, you can see the next curve or the next post or the next mile marker. And you take it 1 mile marker at a time, and the finish line will be there when you get there. So thanks, Wade.
So
thanks, Ms. Lynn. Everything you want.
You bet. You bet. Thank you. And one of the problems I think in life is in every area of life actually is the lack of like transparency. Everything I've gone through, again, it's my testimony. It's not meant to beat me up because God hates me. It's meant to strengthen me for the race and to encourage. And I think a lot of people need accountability partners. They need somebody to level them and say, you know what, you need to get up and look at the next marker. You need to get up and put those blinders on and keep moving. But as long as we hide all of our woes and our trouble and our shame and whatever that is that God can heal, by the way, as long as we're hiding it under a rock, then potentially nobody's going to come alongside us and say, no, get up. Nobody was there to tell me to get up. I faked it really well. But, you know, if you say get up, all you got to worry about is that next marker. Quit looking at 100 million miles of track. All you have to worry about is putting and making that next hole. All you have to worry about is driving it out the green. You know, but if we are so prideful that we hide our struggles, we never share our struggles, we don't have anybody we trust with it, we don't even want to talk to God about it, how are you going to run a race? You can't. You're gonna drown in your woes, right? And so it's important to be real with yourself, is my point. To say, I do struggle in this area. I feel like giving up. I did quit. Whatever it is, guys, until you face it. Remember when I did that talk about fear? It's like the boogeyman, okay? Until you look under the bed and prove to yourself that there is no boogeyman, a boogeyman's going to ruin your life. You got to get up. And you got to be real with people. And you might have to say to a loved one or a maid or even a child or a friend or whatever, listen, I'm struggling in this area. Help me keep my blinders on. I want to win the race. I want to finish it. But you can't get there if you can't be real about what the struggles are. You can't get there.
That's so good. That is so good. But it is up to you to throw those blinders on. And yes, absolutely reach out. But don't be completely dependent on those around you, but do accept the help around you, because sometimes it's the people that are taking those blinders off, right?
No, you're right. It's people that have won the race, but you know, you bring up a good point, because if you look at Tiger, for all the good that his dad, you know, offered, there was too much dependency. When his dad died, he lost his way.
Right.
You can't lean on anybody that much. Sorry, guys. You can lean on God that much, but you can't lean on any human being that much. And so Wade's right. You know, you still got to do it yourself. You got to be willing to do it yourself, right? Mm-hmm.
Yep. Lean on people, yes, absolutely, but know that you're doing it yourself. I love that.
Right.
Hey, let's go to our friend Miss Sandra Jones in Austin. Good morning, Sandra.
Oh, good morning. I wished I had this to. Good morning to both of you. I wished I'd had this talk in 2008. What a difference. But I love all the wins, and I personally did what she's saying. Didn't tell anybody my family knew. I lost my dad, then I lost my mother. I lost my inheritance because my brother on the technicality got the house that was in the will that was mine, and I was probably feeling sorry for myself, and I could not. My real estate went to pot because the market dropped, and my last two checks I bought a magic machine, very doubtful. That I didn't even think of anything about the business, even though the lady that sold it to me, she sponsored under me. That was God giving me a gift. She was my first success. You know, sometimes we do get help and we're not asking for it, and but it comes because we're working on trying to get out of that foxhole that we were in at the moment. I took nature walks. I read higher books on scriptures and better ways of living. But at first, with all this loss, I would pass homeless people on the corner, and I would see myself. And I thought, well, you're never going anywhere with that thinking. So I started giving them money and blessing them. Even if I didn't give money, I blessed them, because that got me out of that sin, my own sign. So anyway, I loved it. Thank you very much.
Well, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing. And yeah, that's part of what I bring up in that book, is that eventually you get to a place where you do for a total stranger, because life isn't about us. So once we start doing for, you know, total strangers with no expectation of anything in return, then the heart can start to change. You know, but I do want to say that, you know, when we're in that place, God never goes away. He's never gone away. But he always expects us to do our part. You know, even Elijah, when he had it, man, I look at his story and think, wow, I'd still be dancing, right? but he was weary, and he just went to the ground. He said, I'm done, God, I'm done. That happened to me, by the way. But he said, I'm done. And what happened was God sent an angel, and he said, eat, drink, you're not strong enough for the journey. And then he said, get up. Get up. God, God doesn't need us to do anything. He wants us to do, and we need to do our part. He didn't need Moses to tap the rock to make the water flow. He didn't need Peter, to catch the fish with the gold coin in its mouth. But he wants us to do our part. We have to do our part. So when we hit that rock bottom or whatever it is, and whatever excuse you have for not running the race, he's not gone anywhere. He's just waiting for you to start running. That's it. And when you start running, he will equip you. It's nothing happens by chance. Even, the technicalities in life, right? That's not a mistake. God didn't take a nap and forget. It just happens. And so you have to look at life that way. And when you get knocked down and you didn't win that one and the losses and whatever, you just have to look at it that way, that as long as I keep running, I can't lose. There's no losing if I keep running the race. And so we have no choice.
That's right. That is so good. Well, awesome. Listen, man, what a great call this has been. But listen, I want to know, how do we get your books? Guys, I talked about that at the start. Toilets, taps and trash, walking on water, and 12 steps for climbing out of the dark place, which we've just been talking about. How do you climb out of that dark place? And so how do we get a hold of your stuff, Lynn? How do we get a hold of your books and the many other things?
Well, the best way to do it is it's completely out there on Amazon, so I'm not shipping books or doing any of that part. You can download them if you do the Kindle thing, and you don't have to buy a Kindle, by the way. Some people don't realize that. You can download it to your computer or your tablet or whatever you use. So they're all out there. So what you want to do is just go to Amazon, put my name in, and any one of the titles, Walking on Water, Toilet, Taps, and Trash, which made it to #1, by the way. That's so cool. And then 12 Steps for Climbing Out of Dark Place. Put my name and one of the titles, and they'll all come up. And again, you can download. If you're a Kindle membership or what, I don't even know what they are, you can actually share the books. That's the whole goal. Toilets, Taps, and Trash I wrote exclusively for our business, okay? It doesn't look like it because it's not shoving ionizers down anybody's throat, but it is like a process of elimination. And, I heard from Tamia the other day that said, man, I got to order a ton of those books for the store because people see it makes their job easier. That's 100% about our business. Walking on Water is just a short testimonial. There's another one coming out. And then, of course, the 12-step is really how can you fight your way out of depression. I have a fun one right now. It's probably going to be beneficial to people on the call and people they know, right? And that one is titled Reinventing Yourself Over 50. And so, I attract a lot of people in my demographic. A lot of people lost their way, lost their mate, lost their job, lost their home. They have never recovered. And so I started, I reinvented myself after 55. So certainly if I can do it, they can do it. So it's all about how can you reinvent yourself? Okay, I used to be an executive and now I'm working at Home Depot. How can I get myself out of this mess? And it's hope. So I'm really excited about that one too.
Man,
anyway, Amazon. Wait.
Excellent. Okay, so guys, Lynn Gardner, LYNNGARDNER, Lynn Gardner, and then look up one of those titles. I'm on Amazon right now. Boom, there's a picture of Lynn right there. The 3 books are lined right up. Guys, make sure you get a copy of these. I mean, we've talked about them very little because Lynn very rarely talks about herself. She always talks about other things, which I appreciate and I understand where you're coming from. But we do want to know more about you. We want to know more about those kind of things. I'm so excited.
Yeah. Well, I do. I feel bad because I feel like I'm on to serve, and I don't want to be, hustling products or something because I came here to serve. But I'm happy to share, Wade, if that's what you want me to do. I'm just uncomfortable. But that's okay, right?
What?
Hey.
Yes.
Well, I was just going to say I am going to plug something because it makes me, it really just made my day. And that is, I don't know if you guys saw that Tamia did, the presentation she usually does in the New York office. She did it by Zoom for the second week in a row. And it was so much fun to see people commenting because I created the presentation she's using. And she says, I won't let my team use anything else. Guys, I'm going to tell you something. That presentation, if you didn't watch it, I'm sure you can watch the replay. But it's very much like, the book Toilets, Taps, and Trash. It's kind of like a process of elimination. What we all do for a living is we, find a need and we fill it. We come up with solutions to problems. So it really kind of addresses things in that manner. But what I told her this morning when she was texting me, I said the beauty of it is, for what I can track, I'm a marketing person, so I track stats, right? There's a 98% close rate when you use that presentation. Y'all might want to think about that. If you're not seeing stats like that, it's just such a non-threatening, easy to understand, it would bless your business. So watch Tamia's presentation. I'm sure it's on Zoom, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
Man, that is wonderful. So let me ask you a question, Lynn. Okay, so you've done these 3 books. What other things have you done, and how would people access you and or your website?
Well, the other thing I'm doing, again, we talk about starting all over. I've really come full circle in my life, and I get sad when people say, well, have you left the business? Well, obviously I haven't left the business. No, I haven't left the business. I'm just doing different things. So the books, are part of reinventing me, doing things that I used to do before I came into this industry. And something I lost my mind when I came here, quit doing all the things that God gives me to do. And so the books are one thing. I'm also doing, there's no way to describe it. It is a course. It's online and live course. And my whole theme now, in fact, it's funny how full circle, because I used to be on Facebook and I was an Ajit Kongan. That was my name. Didn't even use my name, right? And then I came out and used my name. But now I'm trying to raise the barometer of faith in the workplace. There's no way to put it but that. And I am doing courses to get people to start living a larger life. The best way to describe it is not a Bible study, guys, although you're going to hear from me, my faith. It is serious training, okay? Very serious training. And it goes into, a lot of steps that you can take to build your business. But it's really like a Dale Carnegie course with a spiritual spin. So it's good for every area of life, but it's, you can go out and learn how to find, 1,000 people a month for you to talk to about your business. But if you don't know the words to say, it's all for nothing. If you don't know how to communicate with people, and I think in our world today, that's a bigger problem than ever because everybody's dealing online. You don't have to build relationships. We don't know our neighbors anymore. I mean, we're getting down to basics here, but it is a way to teach people how important it is that you be a person of influence, and you do that by your words, by your actions, and then by having superior skills. So we'll be talking about how do you do your social media, the nuts and bolts of how to really reinvent yourself. So that is livinglarger.life. What a cool exchange, right? I couldn't get .com, but .life is a new one, and I love it. livinglarger.life.
I love that. That is
so good. It's so cool. Mm-hmm.
And then also, guys, we have a big event coming up, right? Living Waters Farm in Virginia.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Every fall.
Yeah. I'm so excited. Yeah, Tamia just let us know that she's coming. I'm so excited. We have Romy, who's such a faithful servant. Tamia's coming. We have Earl and Sheree Stevens. If Earl's trying to get a team to come back up here and do some more work on the barn before then. But either way, they're going to be here. It's going to be fabulous. It's just the list goes on and on and on. We're still building on it. But that's another thing, guys. I was talking on a call the other day that let me just tell you something. I am a woman of faith, and you will see it in every area of my life. But I'm a serious woman too, and I know how to train. I know what you need to build your business beyond just your faith, right? So the event it's power packed with training. Okay, this is not sitting around singing Kumbaya. It's power pack training on Friday, Saturday. You do training by the best of the best in our business, and some, semi-celebrities outside of our business. And then Sunday we wrap it up with a spiritual spin. You don't have to be there Sunday if you don't want it, whatever. But I think people misunderstand, what it's all about because they hear so much about my faith. Let me tell you, my faith is in everything, and everything is in my faith. And so, but I'm very serious. I'm an accomplished businesswoman, and you're gonna get some good training. October 11th through 13th, You can look that up. It has its own little website, and that's livingwatersfarmevent.com. I wish we had people to pipe in. You know, it is it's life-changing in so many ways. If you could just imagine going to an event with all these superstars that you watch from afar, and you're actually up close and personal and having lunch with them on a picnic table outside. Let me tell you, it changes the entire dynamic of your relationships. And you start seeing some of these people as real people that had real struggles, and they're here, you know, to be with you, to train you in a very humble setting. livingwatersfarmevent.com.
Excellent. Very good. Well, we're headed the top of the hour. I know that there's tons of people going, how do we get the presentation? How do we get all this stuff? And Cherie popped her hand up, too. So let's go to Cherie real quick, and then we'll go back to that. Hey, Cherie.
Okay.
Hi, Wade. I just wanted to get on and say that Lynn, your event was one of the first events I had gone to a few years ago, and it absolutely touched my life. Everybody is so humble. The training is so real and so passionate. So I'm just going to just tell everybody out there, if you don't have your ticket, get your ticket to the Living Waters Farm event, because it will change your life. And don't forget to bring your team with you, because the training that you're going to get there, it's for real, and it will touch your life. Yes.
It will. Thank you for that, sweet friend. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it is nuts and bolts, and I it's kind of sad. I feel like I'm always having to explain myself, like, hey, you won't just hear about Jesus, you'll actually hear about work, you know. But anybody, if you want to pop in on any training I do, I mean, it's nuts and bolts training, and all the other, you know, people that join us to speak since the first event, it's nuts and bolts training. They're giving you some serious stuff. But when you know, like the first event Cherie's talking about, we had the nuts and bolts training. All the speakers said, what do you want me to talk about on Saturday? And I said, well, whatever's working for your group. I mean, just share with us. But on Sunday, we want to hear your testimony. And that was a moving experience, because a lot of people had never heard Romy's testimony, right? They'd never heard the testimony. They never heard my testimony. They'd never heard from people the struggles that they had gone through. We are all in this life together. It's the same life, guys.
Your presentation and stuff, is there a website for that? Is that right on your
Well, I'm trying to figure that out, because it's part of a USB drive that I put out, the loaded USB that has everything, the company docs, the distributor handbook, all the agreements for the U.S., you know, all the paperwork. It's got everything on it, including this presentation. And so I'm trying to figure out how to separate it out and make it available to people out there. But I'm absolutely going to do that, because it's working like crazy. So I don't know, but I'll figure it out. In the meantime, you might want to watch Tamia out there, and you'll see it and see if it's something you'd be interested in. Then I'll be sure to make it clear how to get their hands on it.
Excellent. All right. Well, so maybe by next month we'll have a clearer idea. Guys, take the time. Man, I'm going to take this back to Sam. I know we're over the top of the hour. Lynn, thank you, Sam.
Thank you. I just appreciate you so much, all of you.
Thank you. You there, Sam?
I'm here. Thank you, Lynn. As usual, awesome job. It's what I like. You take what's going on in the world today and wrap your thoughts and scripture around it, and I'm proud of you for doing that. Very few wants to do that anymore. They don't want to bring God into the picture, so we love you for it. Thanks for all the wonderful things you're doing, difference makers. I encourage you to get on right now today. Don't put it off, because you may not get around to it. So bless you, Lynn. Bless you, Wade. Thanks, everybody. We'll be back in the morning, same time. Back to you, Wade.
Bless you guys, too. Thank you.
Yeah, excellent. And thank you, Lynn. And then, guys, listen, this call is always recorded. Jenny is at the Mr. Asobi training event, so I'm sure it'll be later this evening or even the next couple days before we get this on. But this will be on, so you guys can go back through and listen. Miss Lynn, thank you so much. I'm going to open it up for everybody to thank you for being here today. We love you and look forward to
Thank you, Wade.
Thank you, honey.
God bless you. I love you guys, too.
Thank you so much. All right, here comes everybody.
Thank you, Lynn. Look forward to the event in October.
Thank you.
And I said,
very encouraging.
Because he always tells me, he says, the teacher says, he never comes home with homework. He said